says I'm live. Why does it seem different? Maybe it's a good different. I'm gonna grab my guitar first. Okay. Amaya, what's up? Good luck with that. Yeah, I'm hopping on live this morning, goofing off a little bit. Probably talk about my journey a little bit. I think that I had a hell of a night last night. I had kind of a tough night last night. That's good that this is something you've been working on for a while, so you finally get in, right? I'll have you know, medical stuff is my weakness, so I'm hoping to keep it kind of light. I actually have, let me tell you something, if I have it. I'm so squeamish, Amaya, that I had to get a children's book to try to help me through it. So let me put the guitar down for a second. I'm just going to be honest with you. It's not your fault. It's something I have to work on. But Blood and Guts from Linda Allison. The back reads, "You are many things. You are miles of blood vessels, hundreds of muscles, many thousands of hairs. You are a furnace, filters, and a fancy computer with a huge memory bank. You are a finely tuned organism with more parts than there are people in New York City. You're pretty incredible. This book is to help you explore the amazing territory that is inside the bag you live in and that you call your skin. It'll show you experiments to try, tests to take, and tools to make that will help you see and feel and hear what's going on inside. You'll amaze yourself." But I never could dive in yet because, if I'm being honest, it's like I haven't fully accepted being human yet. Because there's kind of like the animal part, like your body. Then there's, look how crazy my hair is. And then there's like your mind, and I've been stuck in my mind all my whole life that I never fully entered my body. But like, I bought this to help. And honestly, I think it will. I just haven't read all the way through it yet. There you go. There's a skateboarder and a yo-yo person. I can relate to both of those. Because look at all these dang yo-yos. Look at all these dang yo-yos. Not just that. Look at all this dang skateboard. Yeah, I'm such a strange person because I'm so like such a downer and such a cheerful person at the same time. I guess that's part of being human, is having your days and then having your other days. I think if people see this, they're going to click away. People think I really look like this. Maybe I should keep this. Yeah, we're all that way. I think I just spent a lot of my life thinking you could just kind of stay. Like, oh, you're just kind of happy. You just stay kind of happy. That's your personality. It's not like that when you start discovering just what it is to be human. It's just, for me, my ups and my downs have gotten higher and lower. So it's almost like intensity. Like, my lows are lower than they've ever been, and my highs are higher than I've ever been. And I'm a person who never, like, I never take drugs or anything to try to synthetically get these highs. I just get them naturally. So I feel like that's part of my story as well. But you guys are going to have to forgive me. There's literally a toy box behind me. So well, these are way too tight. These are way too tight. There's actually a story, not a story behind these, but my sister's boyfriend his dad used to run the local television station. And they did a couple skits. They did a skit with these glasses where he was walking down the street with these on, and like this big felt top hat. And it's really funny. If I had the clip, I would share it. Currently, I don't have the clip. But I might need to go get like a bowl of cereal here in a second. I have a little bit of back pain myself, lower back. It's not really pain for me. It's just realizing I need to be more active and actually sit better. I keep sitting in this way that like pulls my lower back. So how's it going? Welcome in. I'm just kind of yapping about part of my life story. There's Abby Small. Now, should I call you Abysmal? Because it looks like Abysmal, but then I'm like, I wonder if they go by Abby Small. Oh yeah, Maya, you have to fast, right? I did that once, and they said I over fasted. I just skipped breakfast. I do that sometimes anyway. But that'll get you if you stop eating at 6 the previous day, and then you don't eat breakfast, so then your appointments, whatever, ended up being really long. So Abysmal, I felt like hopping on from Ian's chat because I had the feeling, because I'm like, I still consider myself a spiritual newbie. I'm getting Abysmal. Okay. Are we allowed to call you Abby for short, or are you not about nicknames? I'm big on nicknames, so I always ask permission though. But we were talking a little bit about the spiritual journey, and if I'm on somebody else's chat and I'm typing, it's fun, but sometimes the topic is resonant so high, or like I have so much to say that it feels like I'm pushing, the way I like to put it, is like I'm pushing a golf ball through a straw. So I'm sitting here on the keyboard with these limitations. And not only that, there's a character limit of whatever. And sometimes I'll write half an essay and I'm like, I get cut off. I'm like, okay, I'm going to do the ... and then do a part 2. But since not regularly, but I hop on stream sometimes and just goof off and talk about stuff with people. And since I do that anyway, I'm like, I want to hop on chat and see if anybody wants to jump trains. But I get these moments where I just feel like pouring out. And when I first started this Milk for a Snack channel, the whole idea was to pour out. I'm like, oh, it'll be like you're hanging out with me. Then I'm a very big, as people will see, I'm a big in my head person, and it sometimes just radiates. I'm not much in the body, I'm in the head, and it's been that way, and I am working on it. But what I mean is, I realized with my channel that I'm like, I can't get as personal as I really want. I could be one of those people who come on here and say all my details, and I kind of still want to, because it scratches an itch. But it's YouTube. Like, I don't actually know you people, and you can transfer more than you would think over the wire. Like, I feel like people have seen me through the wire, and they've said things about me where I'm like, how did you pick that up? Maybe I'm just easier to read than I thought, but like, point being, I retracted. So I have probably 50 videos on my channel that I end up taking down because I'm just like, that warrants a closer connection to even mention. So if I get, and I never try to be personal to the degree of like people's details. Like, I'm not trying to tell details of other people's lives that I know. I would try to keep it just me. But even keeping it just you makes it sometimes too personal. I'm like, okay, that's the wrong place. But with poetry and short stories, you can kind of go buck wild, and then you can just kind of hide behind the text and be like, you can almost be like, it's none of your business whether that's a true story or embellished or whatever, and it becomes art instead of just spilling. Abby's chill. That's good to know. Because, like, you know, it's just easy to call people. People call me Milk. I don't expect them to say for a snack. You can call me Alex. Some people call me Milky. I've gotten Milky Milk. I've gotten Milky Way Galaxy, Milkman. But I'll go by any of those. I want a public diary journaling, but that is the same reason I want to remain anonymous. I'm working on my mask. Yeah, I was so against masks. Like, I love being authentic and original in myself, but then I realized, like, I never wanted a huge following. Like, if my Milk channel got 1,000 people, I would consider starting fresh at just 1,000. What do I even have? It's really low. 35? No, that's my music channel. I don't even remember. I guess one of you guys can tell me. It's over 80. But anyway, I'm about small communities. I would rather there be 1,000. How do I get that off of here? I'd rather there be 1,000 small communities and I'm a part of one or two of them than like 2 big communities and everybody's on them. I've been on streams that were so fast. It's like this. I'm like, why am I even here? You know? 1:30. Okay. Yeah, because I was doing a new appreciation thing every 20 subs that were added. I was originally doing a 20 things I like in honor of 20 because Livy, which I don't know if I have a link, maybe I can have a link. There's this really small comedic YouTuber that just kind of made a difference for me. I'm like, this is what I love, this little stuff. And she did that. And I said, can I steal that idea? So that's why I have some videos where I'm like 20 more things I like in honor of 20 more subscribers. But I've been lazy lately. I think I did an 81 and I haven't done my 100 or 120 because I looked at the things that I liked, and I have a list somewhere. I looked at the things that I liked, and a lot of them I'm aging out of, or not aging, but shifting out of. So I was kind of bummed that all these things I used to like, I don't care about as much. So I was like, okay, no big deal, I guess. But it kind of made me sad because I'm going through enough life shifts lately where it's like almost everything is burning down to ash, like a bed of ash, and then I'm going to rise from that ash. Yeah. So speaking of masks, I used to do work for the Halloween parade in a local town, and my crew's theme was Day of the Dead. So I made this out of foam, which I'm really excited about because it's my first like real 3D sculpture thing that I did. I've built a lot of things mechanically, but I never really did something this curvy, I guess. And yeah, it's like the Phoenix, and it's a lot of stuff that comes out of my mouth now sounds corny, or it used to sound corny, but like I can back it up, like I'm living it. So I'm like, okay, I guess I'm part of that crew now. But I still like holding the spiritual newbie angle because I think I bring a different angle to spirituality because I basically grew up atheist, and I was like, hey, how's it going, Ian? I basically grew up atheist, and then I had something of an awakening where I'm like, wait, God is real, but God to me is almost like the whole universe in every little capillary in it and not like a cloud Santa necessarily interface. But anyway, I feel like I got off. I'm a big tangent. You guys are going to find out. Anyway, this is a welding helmet that you can clamp on your head. It used to be part of a welding helmet. And then you put this on, then you look through the teeth. And what I did was I was walking on stilts. But you can tighten it down so then it doesn't fall off. But so I'm in a parade. I think I had a black thing around here to help shield my face. I can't like those things you can see through. If not, it's no big deal. You just see a face inside a face. But I was up on stilts and I made a suit out of felt to cover my stilts so I looked like I had really long legs. Then they had mechanical hands that I might be able to show. The rubber bands are probably broken. So you can imagine it's a little bit scary walking on stilts with not your real hands to catch you if you fell. Allow me to try to find those hands really quick. It won't be that long. I found one. Well, I found both. All right. A humbling term. I like those terms, honestly. It makes all the sense to me. I was born Christian and Buddhist. Now I'm more eclectic, if you will. Yeah, and I feel like it's fair. I feel like it's fair for anybody to believe anything that kind of helps them sleep at night. So like, whether I agree with it or not, when I was kind of an atheist, I was never that type of person to say, like, to come out and be pushy about it. Anytime somebody's pushy about something, even if it's something I agree with, it's like, why are you pushing? So I'm not trying to push anybody, but it was a shock to my system, and it still is, to believe God is real. Like I said, God in the form of, the best way I can put it, it just feels like, oh, wow, something is behind the curtain. Whether it's just energy transfer, whether it's just consciousness, whether it's just a shared human connection, whether it's something bigger and that designed everything, all that's the same to me now, because it feels like we're all chasing that same energy. So here is the mechanical hand. So I literally made it out of just pieces of wood and painted them. And all the rubber bands are broken, but the rubber bands would keep them straight. And then I would pull them with these rings that are in this glove. So I would put this glove on with this sleeve. Let me try to see if it just goes on right now. There's probably spiders in it, you know. Let's see here. There we go. Okay, the thumb's a little bit, but okay. See, the rubber bands are supposed to keep that. I used to like trying to flip people off with it. The terminology. I'm going to add that to let me add that word to add that to my vocabulary. People get weird because like I use the F word, but I try to wait till I'm actually angry for it to come out. I don't mind when people use it casually. I feel like a lot of people who curse a lot are actually more, not exactly trustworthy, but like upfront, I guess, and honest. People sometimes be weird about how I don't curse very much, and they'll say sorry when they say it. I'm like, it's not that I'm against it. I think there was a point in my life where I kind of was, because I just wanted the words to have all the power that they're meant to have. So when I use the F word, people know that I'm very serious. But I think that I know people and I respect people, and I know some people I respect a lot that are F words that are common. So I ain't worried about it whatsoever. Trying to do my lunch, listen to music, and watch Alex. Wow, that is a multitask, Ian. That is a multitask. Debs, how's it going? This is a morning stream. As you can see, I got energy today. I'm doing some show and tell. I'm doing some spiritual sharing. I also just wanted to share this. I got rid of almost all my die-cast cars. I used to collect Volkswagens, but this one made the cut. This Tucker 48. This guy was ahead of his time. I read his book. I think the big car companies didn't want him to innovate that much because they didn't want the customers to kind of know how much better they could have had it at the time or something. We're going to do a little ADHD show and tell. Y'all remember these? High 8 tapes. Got a new battery for it a couple weeks back, and it works beautifully still. Had that since like 2001 or something crazy. Just waking up like a deer in the headlights. I like spiritual talk. It's been a trip. Oh my gosh. And it's scary to think that I'm on the beginning of it. I know you could argue that there is no actual timeline, but no, I don't know. I know what you mean. I feel like there's so many words that can better express myself. I was raised by sailors. Yeah, sometimes curse words are like shorthand. I remember I'm a big Joni Mitchell fan, and I remember her saying, "Oh no, I got this wrong. I am a big Joni Mitchell fan. That part's right. Where's that hair?" But it was Joanna Newsom who said that she felt like curse words were shortcuts. So she articulates the idea fully, and she's quite a wordsmith. But then I remember hearing the F word in a Joni Mitchell song and being like, if it's good enough for Joni, it's good enough for me. I think in my songs, I'm trying to even think if I had any curse words in my Song a Day project. I'm going to post that, by the way. Millie, how's it going? You're awake. Wait, you're in the same time zone as me, aren't you? Oh, man. You've had like 3 spiritual awakenings. It never ends. A free man in Paris, yeah. I'd go back there tomorrow, but for the work I've taken on, stoking the stars, making machinery behind a popular song. Oh, there's a big question. I'm a big music fan. Like, okay, to blend the spiritual journey or my spiritual path with music goes like this. Music was my life, kind of still is to a degree, but I've been hiding inside of it. Gosh, this is such a topic. This might be like a 2-hour stream. And I got a tickle. I'm gonna probably a note here. Gosh, how do I start? If I were to nutshell my spiritual journey, my journey in general, I spent a lot of time stuck inside objects. I spent a lot of time, I don't know if there's something I was hiding from or avoiding, like myself. And maybe it was divine timing and I was supposed to have, like, I call it the tunnel. It's like I was in a tunnel and then I finally got to the end. I'm like, what the hell? I'm human suddenly. And I collected toy cars. I have another channel called The Thinkerer on YouTube where I used to build stuff. I was all about my projects and my toys. It was almost like a whole separate world that I could just be inside, and I didn't have to worry about anything else. It was bliss, honestly. And I kind of got kicked out. It's like my toys kicked me out, and they're like, "You got to go. You got to go, young grasshopper." I'm like, "What do you mean?" And then it got to the point, folks, where I was literally out. I was like weeping and thanking all of my like projects and toys for being there for me. And it's like, I gotta go. Okay, Millie, maybe I'll leave this up for a while. I was gonna get personal enough to take it down when I was done, but we're having so much fun that I might have to leave this up a little bit. So water that garden. I appreciate your devotion to the garden. So what was I saying? I will get to music. But I was stuck inside objects. I got kicked out. There was almost a ceremonious thank you guys for serving me. Thank you for serving me. I gotta go. And I'm still not fully out yet. But I've been purging things. I've been selling things to a good friend. He has been buying a lot of my stuff. I've been giving some stuff away, donating it, and then realizing what I want to really keep. And most of the things I want to keep are if they make music like this, and if they help me write, like a typewriter, wherever it be. That stuff, where's my typewriter? That stuff stays. But everything else kind of goes. Except what I can fit. I want every toy I own to fit in this toy box. Got a giant squid, got a moo cow, got Ninja Turtles. And if it doesn't fit in there, I have to tear down again. So what I'm trying to say with music is that I get what I call blinders. It's not writer's block, although I get blinders with writing too. Blinders for music is kind of like something telling me that you don't want to listen to music right now. I'm like, what? How do I open this? Oh, wrong tab. I just wanted to show off my Smith Corona really quick. Gosh, I love that smell. There you be. So, man, I'm feeling alive today. For me with music, it feels like it's almost like movies where I'm so sensitive that I'll just start bawling. I'll hear a song and I'll just start weeping. And I don't mind weeping. I don't get very like sinusy. Like I'm getting better and better at crying than I have been in my whole life. You had that typewriter? Isn't it a pretty one with that color? I thought it was pretty. I was sorting junk at this house that I bought a while back, and there was a bunch of stuff left in it, and that's one of the only things that was worth keeping. And at first I was going to give it to Goodwill or something. And then my friend said, no, it's worth at least $50. I'm like, okay, I'll keep it. Then I pulled it out to sell it. And I'm like, honestly, I don't want to sell this. I did some work on it. The platen, like the black cylinder, I ended up wet sanding it to get it flatter. I put a new ink ribbon cartridge in it, and now I love it. I'm not getting rid of it whatsoever. How's it going, Victor? I'm getting spilly today with my spiritual journey and things. And I'm feeling alive and I'm feeling well. I had a hell of a night last night. Last night was tough. But like I said, my highs have been getting higher naturally, and my lows have been getting lower. If you looked at it on an oscilloscope, it's like my amplitude is increasing. And I think that's something that can just happen to people. But let's catch up with Abby real quick. I can feel you there. I can fit my life in a duffel bag. Homelessness and runaway since I was a kid. Yeah. See, and isn't it strange that I almost envy that? Like if I could just fit everything I own into one room and one car, that's like my goal. And it's strange. If anybody knew me in real life right here and didn't catch up with me for 2 years, they'd be like, what do you mean? You're that guy who keeps stuff. I'm like, I kept so much stuff. And I can explain why I kept most of it. And I still remember how it served me. I remembered liking being completely surrounded by my projects because it was like potential, something to do. I haven't been bored for 20 years. But with with an awakening path, you expand. It's like my consciousness grew another leg. And the way I like to put it is that leg doesn't know how to walk yet. It just kind of kicks me in the side. But it's still there, and that leg needs honored and that muscle needs flexed. So I've been more about looking inward lately and more about connections and like the human experience than I am about building stuff. So on my other channel, the Thinkerer, it's dormant. It's stagnant. You can go on there. I don't really feel like building anything. There's one project I'm keeping, and it's a way to cheat on a Etch-a-Sketch. I think I know this way to make this mechanical linkage that blends the X and the Y, almost like the sinusoidal like way, like the way it slows down and returns, that I think I can crank this machine and make a perfect circle on the Etch-a-Sketch. It's just novel. It's something, some people aren't going to get it. Some people are going to be like, why did you spend so much time? But that's a project from my Thinkerer channel that I really want to do still, because I think it's going to be funny and interesting. And they're called Watts links. I'm not going to get into them now, but I keep forgetting that even though I'm on this spiritual path, I have whatever mechanical aptitude I had, it's still there. It's just not at the forefront, because now it feels like a distraction. It feels like sometimes even when I listen to music, it seems like a distraction, because I used to be inside music. I used to listen and like be inside that world, you know? See you, Victor. Thanks for stopping in. Just like Millie, you guys got real lives. You got stuff to do right now. I appreciate you stopping by. And I'm going to have to leave this up. Originally, I was not going to leave this up. I was going to spill and clean it up. But now I'm like, I'm just flowing out. So I might have to leave this for y'all replay people. Yeah, higher highs and lower lows. That's growth. It is growth. My chart is getting wider, where it has capacity for these higher highs and lower lows. But in learning capacity, hold on. Yeah, you guys will see my undiagnosed ADHD come out. But I can always read, if somebody wants to go back to something, just let me know. So one of my favorite bands is Big Thief. Okay? And let's see here. We're going to do Masterpiece and Capacity. So I call these. So Abby was asking, what music do I listen to? Big Thief is a big one. So, but it's sad boy music. Well, not sad boy, just like in the last 5-10 years, my biggest genre would be like sad girl indie. And this applies, but I call these the family albums, because they're literally just family photos. But this is Capacity, and this is Masterpiece. I think this was their first album. So this one, I'm already getting, I'm getting goosebumps. Hold on. I'm getting goosebumps. Okay, not the goosebumps are bad, but that's Adrienne Lenker as a kid. And that's her mom in the middle. And that's them looking at a real bird or something with a dinosaur. And this album just means a lot to me. Like, ooh, I'm getting the feels again. This band came around at a point in my life where I was kind of like, how does this music exist? Because it was like so resonant with me that I was just like, okay. It felt like the band was made for me at the time, but I'm willing to share it. I'm not the type of person to like, when I find something I really like, one of my first things I want to do is show somebody, you know. But I guess I never wanted to keep a lot to myself. But I am sometimes careful. If I really love something, I don't want people to not like it. But I'm also really big on like music recommendation etiquette. So I want people to know that it's like, I want people to know, and I sometimes will just say it. It's not super often I get to give music recs, but when I do, I say, if I'm really behind it, I'll preface by saying, let me down easy. But usually I just let it fly, because I'm already at a point, if I'm recommending music, of understanding that it might not get in for 2 reasons or 3. 1, they just don't like it. That's fine. 2, timing. And 3, the angle. Like if you push it too hard, I think it doesn't get in. It's almost like advertising, where if you hear the same commercial 6 times in a freaking half-hour period, you're like, I'm never going to do it. Like right now, who is really going to buy Liberty Mutual Insurance that doesn't already have it? Because it's so annoying and oversaturated. Liberty, Liberty, Liberty. It's like, no, we've seen too much. Another one that's a big deal for me would be Laura Marley. Yeah, I like sharing the experience and goosebumps. Yeah, and every time I speak like a truth, I guess, I get the goosebumps. All I listen to is sad music. I'm gonna have to check them out. Oh yeah, if you're a sad music connoisseur, then. But I almost can't even recommend it anymore because I think I overdid it. I think I genuinely overindulged in sad music. Or maybe it's just me with my shift. I'm more sensitive than I even was before, which I was already kind of sensitive. So maybe it's just that. Because like there's some songs that I feel like are too sad, where I feel like if I'm recommending them to the wrong person, it's like I'm inviting them to hurt themselves. Not physically, but it's like I'm putting them through something that maybe they didn't ask to be put through. Mm-hmm. I've got a second playlist because YouTube deleted my first one. Oh, you have a playlist on YouTube? I guess I have a watch later list and a liked videos list. Or do you use YouTube Music? I never looked into that. I have Spotify. I have a love-hate relationship, obviously, with it, being that I buy vinyl and I want to support the artist, whatever. But I think on Spotify, my liked list is like almost 800 songs now. I listen to black metal, doom metal, and rap songs that are basically suicide notes. It's only relatable to a handful of people who've been through it. Okay, cool. So I'm in good company for, like, I'm not going to I wouldn't recommend something to you that you're like, wow. You'd probably be like, that's it. And with that said, there's a song. But if you might not like the delivery. So where's the S's here? Okay. So one of the saddest songs for me that I've ever indulged in would be some from Sufjan Stevens. It's from an album called Carrie and Lowell. It's his mom and his stepdad. And it's called 4th of July. Like, ugh, ugh. He also has a song from a different album called the Casimir Pulaski Day. And it's like, now it doesn't help that if anybody knows a movie called Grave of the Fireflies, the anime, it's already tragic, okay? I came across a sync. Somebody took footage from the Grave of the Fireflies and synced it to 4th of July. And that was like, I was a little bit damaged from that. And it made me realize that for a little while, I was almost using sadness as a sport. So I have to be careful with that personally. I love sad songs. They're more genuine. And I feel like they just feel so like almost good because at the same time, I can't just be in a sorry mood and then listen to a bunch of Lizzo and then be fine. Like sometimes you need to resonate with it first before it can dissipate. But yeah, 4th of July gets me. But speaking of metal, oh gosh, here's another one. Well, this isn't metal, but I guess the guy who writes this, John Darnielle from the Mountain Goats, mainly listens to metal. So most people are not going to like the Mountain Goats on the first listen because the dude's like kind of nasally and you don't get his angle right away. I seen the Mountain Goats live And that's the first time I discovered them. I went to a Bright Eyes concert with my brother, and the Mountain Goats opened. And I remember being like, who the hell is this guy with, I think he had a tie, and he was just kind of almost punkish. He had this weird voice, and I remember my brother saying, I like his voice. I remember thinking, you do? Years later, probably 4 years later, maybe longer, I ended up getting into the Mountain Goats. So I have to go back and try to appreciate. I like how that light bends the top. I have to go back and appreciate them retroactively and be like, I was at a Mountain Goats concert. And for people who actually like them, it's like I'm already closer to being your friend. This is called Beat the Champ, and it's exclusively about pro wrestling. Yeah, to do that. This whole album, Beat the Champ, it gives you a lot of perspective. This guy's a hell of a writer. The main thing that gets me into a band or a musician is if I feel like they are either A, smarter than me, B, funnier than me, or C, have something to teach me. And this man, he actually wrote a book that I own too. But wow. I love the Mountain Goats. I really, really do. Let's catch up on the chat for a second. See, I say that too sometimes, Debs, but like I call it finding, because I have a hard time saying I've met somebody. But like I'm not trying, I'm being myself here. I have to say like nice to find you, or see. I used to be such a goof. I would say nice to see your screen name or something like that, because of the limitations we have here. But because people be like, it was nice meeting you. I'm like, you didn't meet me yet. But don't mind me. I'm like that guy. I'm like that guy who's like, technically, I don't put it that way though. I like a lot of indie and folk punk too. I love anything that's genuine. My girlfriend keeps saying I need to watch that movie. One of the few Ghibli films I haven't seen. Yeah, I have a great friend who says it's a one and done. Like, rarely do people watch Grave of the Fireflies twice. And it depends on how sensitive you are. You might like it, and maybe you can watch it again. Check out JJ Grey and Mofro, River Music. I do remember JJ and Mofro. Did he add the gray, or was it always gray? Because I saw, probably within a couple months ago, I saw something from them, and I'm like, oh, I remember that name. But I thought it was just JJ and Mofro like 10 years ago. And is that for Abby or for me or for everyone, Debs? Like, should I write that down? I might write it down just in case. But I found out that as much as I love music recs, I'm almost too much of a snob sometimes, where I'll be like, it wasn't. I'm like, it didn't hit. Shouldn't I tell them it didn't hit? So I'm kind of not exactly a jerk, but sometimes I'm like, oh no, I don't like it. How do I tell them? If I don't like a music recommendation, I'm not going to say I loved it. That's all I'm really saying. I'll be like, oh, that was nice. Or like, I'll find something about it that I like. You can find something you like about almost everything. Plus, I think Mofro is a funny name, don't you? River Music, like Susan Tedeschi and Drive By Truckers. By the way, I'm writing down these recommendations. Whoa, I see common ground. I recently found Bright Eyes. I actually love a few of their songs. Oh, cool. I could have a separate stream about Bright Eyes. The difference between real life and YouTube people. We used to sing the song Cheers with the words, everyone knows your screen name. Yeah. Sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your screen name. Doon, doon, doon. I have, I've done good work, if you can call it that. Coming into my awakening, coming into the loneliness epidemic, and coming into different energies, I felt the compulsion about 2 years ago to just hop online. And I haven't been online very long, meaning I had the internet in my school, but I just kind of thought it was stupid. And I still do. But I'm finding the gems within it now with small communities and stuff. And there's still that element of parasocial relationship. There's still that element of mystery. There's still that element of you don't know who you're talking to. But if you just push through that, you find that there's actually gems to keep no matter what happens. And I actually have a collection, as embarrassing as it is, I have a collection of people saying milk for a snack because I noticed one day that several people said it. So I started recording it. And it turns out I'm either just an agreeable or not, I'm either just a likable person, which is kind of news to me somehow, believe it or not, or you can go far by just being nice. Hopping in a chat and just not being a hater gets a long way. Being present and having something to say goes a long way. And I had a bunch of little communities that you kind of wander in and out of. And there's a lot that I forgot about or they haven't posted for a while, so I'm just not there. Things happen. But I have almost a legacy. This milk for a snack is something I can kind of wear on my back. Like it was like a phase of my life that I kind of hold dear. And some of it is still blossoming and some of it has waned. And it's teaching me a lot. You've seen JJ 3 times. His name did change depending on if he played by himself or with the band. He plays all instruments and for over 2 hours. We spiritual people are finding each other. I know. I had a call a year or two ago and I started documenting it where I felt people talk about soul tribes. People talk about people getting together. And what am I trying to say? I've got the signal and it was vivid. And I basically felt like I was longing for people I haven't met yet. It felt like I was mourning friends, almost like your friend died but you never found them yet. And I started getting curious. Is this real? Is this actually something that's happening to me? And I think I can say now, yes, it was. But anyway, it turns out a lot of people are finding this longing for like unknown friends. And I think it is a signal to kind of come together. And I think that, how do I want to conclude that? Yeah. So I was wondering if these were actually people in like a different lifetime, a different timeline, or the future, or the past, or if it's just people that are alive out here today somewhere and I have to find them. And I basically decided, try to find them. What's going to hurt? And it's been a big part of my journey, honestly. And I think I did find some of them, to be honest. And so even if it was made up in my head, I always have to do this because I'm too analytical. I think, okay, what if this is like a wormhole that is not true? And what if this is an actual absolute truth? It turns out either way it splits, it was motivation to find something that you didn't have. So even if it's delusions in my head, I got to this point where how harmful can delusions be if they're improving your life? Put it that way. My songs are like 14 minutes long. I don't bother too much on recommending because someone says they like something. I listen to albums at a time. I feel like most people don't like the first 30 seconds. A lot of it is harsh. So the songs you like are the songs you make. You're saying your songs are like 14 minutes long. Ones you recommend or ones that you actually created yourself? Deb says, never be ashamed of who you are. You're hella interesting. I've been moderating in 5 countries for 7 years, just popping into chats. Yeah, I was mods on a couple too, and I actually liked it. Debs was asked if that's a cute kitty. I have 5 cats. I have 1 cat, tortoiseshell cat, Norma Jean, and she's so cute. I'm a cat person, but it's weird because like I'm like a cat uncle. I like to go to people's houses, pet on their cats, and then leave. Maybe I'm avoiding what do you call that? Responsibility, but I love other people's cats. I love my cat too, but I wouldn't get more. I think I'm already to that stage where I'm like, when this one passes, I don't think I'm going to get another one. I'm just going to go love other cats more and harder. Yeah, there's Ian's music channel. Watching from my normal channel. Is that the normal one? You can mask as a normal guy who just likes music right now. 20% of us are empaths spread all. Oh my God, tell me about it. I denied I was an empath for so long because I feel like I was told that I was not. I was told that I was a jerk, and I can be sometimes. And I grew up kind of jerky, not an actual jerk, just like a little bit self-absorbed. And like I said, I was more empathic for inanimate objects. So like, oh, this poor cup out in the like stupid stuff. And then I shifted to humans, and I think that's where my sensitivity got more palatable because being an empath will pull. It's like touching a cold rail and all the heat gets pulled out of your hand. Sometimes if you're an empath to a certain degree, you don't even know how to go out in public. And I am a go out in public person, but if I have to go to like Walmart or something crazy, I have to like not perform a ritual, but I have to be careful not to feel like I'm leeching out or in a bunch of people's energies. Let's catch up again on the chat. Okay, cute kitty. Ian's on his normal channel. 20% are empaths spread all over the world. Yeah, it is a beautiful thing. You could see like little lights on a map. My best friend in town is a Reiki master, right? And Reiki, I listen to it. I'm on Ian's channel. It's like 50% about Reiki, and I'm still not looking into it because it's like I'm not. Have you ever not gotten into something yet just because you're like, it's like you're dealing with so much other stuff. You're like, I'll check out Reiki later, but not right now. That's kind of how I feel with it. The word's been floating around everywhere. Sam likes gloves. Absolutely. It's right. And it's baked into the name. I'm going to have to laugh at the glove thing, but I'm going to entertain that. I got a glove you're going to love, Sammy. Is it Sam G Gloves? No, it's Sam Gloves. Abby, that's an 18-year-old. What is? Hold on. Oh, the cat is an 18-year-old. Wow. Ones you listen to, not music you create. You're working on some of my own works, nothing out yet. I'll give you a link to my music if you're curious. I have a connection to stuffed animals, Debs. Yeah, check it out. So, giant squid. Magic Nursery. Small giant squid. These are ones that made the cut. Yoshi. And there's a kitty cat in here somewhere. These are all the toys I sorted. These are the ones that made the cut most recently. There he is. Oh no. Oh no. It's supposed to purr. Not because it's like he had a ball. Holy crap. It's not working. Hey. This is going to look weird, but I'm about to smack this kitty in the head. Oh, okay. So that's supposed to sound like a purr, and it kind of does. It's like a textured ball in a bigger sphere or something. Those made the cut. I used to have that net that strings across the corner of your room where it was just full of stuffies. So, yeah, that you feel the energies. Yeah, I know. And it's so weird, Debs, because I'm still kind of in denial stage where I'm like, am I feeling energies or am I in my head? Because it is both. Like, I am also in my head. So that exacerbates the issue. But I think I do feel the energies, and I feel like I could prove it. But why do I have to prove it, right? It's because I want to prove it to myself. Almost had a panic attack in Walmart. I started getting weird about Walmart a year or two ago, and I thought it was just me being pissy pants. No, it is deeper, and that's okay. But I like Chief better. I have Chief in my area because I felt. And then I was on NTR or some show where I was like surrounded by people who also felt weird about Walmart. I'm like, okay, it's not just me. And sometimes with ailments, you want it to be just you. Like you want to be like, oh, I'm the only one with this problem. That's good. And sometimes you get comfort from other people having that. But when the student is ready, the teacher will arrive. Truth. Yeah, maybe so. And that's so weird because coming from such a like physical background, it's just weird to see these energies in work because you can also go a little far on that path. And I've seen that too, where you're like, you can over symbolize everything. Sometimes you just something happens and it's actually part of somebody else's story. You're just witnessing it. It's not even for you, I think. So I'm trying to sort between that. I have connections to my acoustic guitar, my skateboard, and books. That's the only material objects I need. Do you name your stuffed animals? I name my cars, and I name cars, and there's something else I name. But no, the stuffies don't have a name actually. This is just squid. This never had a name. Magic Nursery is just Magic Nursery because that's what they call the doll. But I will say Yoshi. This was Yashkum. I did call him Yashkum. So I will say that. But I named my cars. My motorcycle is Merlin. My Ford Flex is Atlas. I sold some other cars. I used to have a lot of cars at one time, and now I'm just like, I just want one or zero. But I live in an area where you've got to have at least one. Like grocery store is 10 miles, or like I have a grocery store I can walk to, but the next one's like 10 miles away. So I had a car named Beluga, Tommy Two-Tone. I have a truck I call Falcor, like the Luck Dragon. And I still have right now a Bobcat machine that I call Kurt Loader. And I have a trencher that I call Trench Resner. Maybe it does, because I'm getting better, but I have like anger issues too. If I'm working on something, I would just get so upset. I'm like a tool thrower, but not usually when people are around. I usually have to be in my own energy and in my own head for it to happen. And I had a moment a year or two ago that I call hitting my hard stops, where I go so angry about something and I realized I'm not angry just about this lug nut. I'm like, there's something core. There's something, I call it base anger. There's like an existing layer of anger that existed before I got angry. And the anger was just like an outspurt of that. And I hit my hard stops. And it's not that I haven't got angry since, but it changed. I realized that the anger was a signal and not just blind anger. We got hit with a CME yesterday. Did you sleep well? I don't remember or know what a CME is, but no, I did not. I actually considered hopping on live because I couldn't sleep. I ended up chatting with a friend. It was like past midnight. I stayed up till 1 or 2. And lately I've been doing more like 10, 11s. So it's like my body. And I almost fell asleep because I was chatting with another friend and I was like, all right, I'm hitting the sack. Then I went and I'm like, doit. The doit is my eyelids opening. Doit. And I was like, I'm not sleeping now and I know it. So instead of sitting down and trying to force it, I just got up and did things. So yeah, but let me see what a CME is again, because I'm on a computer. Okay, like a sun thing. Yeah, it could have been. It could have been. I spent so much time thinking the planets had nothing to do with me. And now I'm like, okay, maybe they do, especially the moon. I know the moon's not a planet, but whatever. Celestial body. Abby is diagnosed with anxiety, depression, PTSD, and drug dependence disorder. So hustle bustle areas get to me. Yeah. If it makes you feel better. I don't have any diagnosis. Maybe I should. The anxiety came in later in life. Depression, I think, was a sub layer. And now it's on the table. I'm chopping it up and looking at it. The drug dependence, I would have to start a whole separate stream to say I used to hate drugs so badly. And then it got almost damaging how much I didn't do them, which sounds stupid to some people. And I still don't want to try anything synthetic. I'm still scared of drugs, but it got to the point where I was so scared of even alcohol that I had to face a fear, and I drank some, but I was so careful. I like recorded it like a scientist. I stayed the night in my school bus, and I ended up over padding. I had a belly full of food, and I even had electrolytes, and I had like Mike's Hard Black Raspberry, and I drank them. It was kind of a mom thing. Like alcohol was a big problem with my mom. So I kind of just realized, Alex, you're scared of this stuff. And what I did was I tried it and realized, okay, to start an alcohol habit takes work. And this is work I'm not willing to put in. Not that I tried to start a habit, but I was so afraid of addiction. I'll tell you this, folks, you can be so afraid of addiction that you basically enter anhedonia, and like your pleasure receptors are almost broken, where you're like, I can't have any pleasure because that's going to allow to a habit. I'm healing. I'm doing better. But it got that bad with abstaining from drugs, where I realized I started abstaining from regular things that give me joy, because I thought it's almost like you think joy is unhealthy, which is unhealthy to think. So yeah, hustle bustle areas. And a lot of people are just sensitive to hustle bustle anyway. It's good to name your vehicles, makes you treat them better. Okay, that's where I went off on that tangent about throwing tools. My cars are named Ted because all the license plates, and Herbie the love bug. It's got wiring issues. I used to like Herbie a lot. There's a point, and this is one. Here's a quick story interjection that makes sense giving my backstory. I remember watching Herbie the love bug, being kind of affected by this scene where Herbie gets hit with a bat a bunch of times because these people are trying to destroy it or something. But that was that. I was like, oh, geez. But then I was telling my mom and sister, I was riding around in the car with errands or something with my mom and sister at the time, and I was recounting that detail, and I started weeping. I started crying, saying about how I started crying because I'm like saying about how Herbie was getting hit repeatedly with the bat. And it was opening for me because I'm like, I didn't know it mattered that much to me. Yeah, coronal mass injection from the sun. Sensitive people can feel it. It very well could be. And as much as I don't want to blame everything on the sun and this, I should keep that in the back of my mind at least when I'm going through something that feels extra, or like, yeah, it's my energy, but it's under a magnifying glass. And I should remember that sometimes the weird things are out there happening that I might be affected by because of how open my energies, like circuits, have been lately. Now, there's a couple Herbies. Now, I don't know if it's just the books. I had the books too, but I never did read them. There's Herbie, and there's Herbie the Love Bug. Then there's like Herbie Goes Bananas. Then there's like Herbie Goes to Mexico or something. I can't remember. Yeah, Herbie is a Volkswagen Beetle. Herbie is a 1963 Volkswagen Beetle, and it has a 53 logo on it. And yeah, I used to like that a lot, actually. It was kind of a fun movie. Oh, Debs, I thought you were joking that Herbie was a 2007 Black Mercury SUV. And the bug is just the bug in the wiring. Herbie the love bug. No, but Abby hates drugs too, but is involved since my childhood. Yeah, and it helps me, Abby. It helps me to talk to people who have more firsthand experience with that because of how much I just fervently hated it and wish they didn't exist. Where it's like part of my journey that I kind of like hearing another perspective. But my actual involvement with drugs is very minimal. I had some family members, I had a lot of drinking and smoking type of stuff in my family that I used to rebel against. I still do. It's just on a more mature level, I'm rebelling, if that makes any sense. I still don't like cocaine and heroin, and like the hard stuff still kind of triggers me, just it existing. But mushrooms and THC, I feel like that stuff I can kind of let into my heart a little bit. Alcohol's still kind of a hard no. It seems more dangerous, and I just seen some things with it. But it has helped me grow as a person, realizing that it's not all bad and it can help people. And anything used too much is bad, even like water, you can drown. So like I keep that in mind. But and her daughter, got the whole fam there with the cats. Deb's never watched the whole movie, but the same way about seeing things get hurt or damaged. Yeah, it can be hard. I think some people just can compart. They're just like, oh, it's not really happening. So it's not as big of a deal. But I smoke ganja because it helps pain, anxiety, and to get hungry. Oh, like you actually need to get hungrier than you are naturally. Quit drinking a decade ago. That's amazing. How's it going, Kevin? Abby's drug habits entertain myself. Harm, ideations, anything addictive and deadly. I never liked. I found comfort in numbness and fell into escapism. I think I have in my own little ways. I think music escaped. I think in my living inside my toys and project escaped. But I didn't even know what I was escaping from because I thought on paper my childhood was perfect. Turns out it wasn't perfect, but it wasn't. If you had to make a stupid scale where you're like quantifying your trauma, I feel like growing up mine was really low. And that made it harder entering the real world, whatever that is, because I was kind of like, oh, basically, if you were kind of sheltered, then you come out to something, it's obviously a more distinct contrast. I think we have one foot on earth and one somewhere else. Oh, yeah. It's like that House of the Rising Sun. I got one foot on the platform, the other on the train. And that's how that can be goosebumps too. Okay. If you go through some kind of awakening at all, if you go through some kind of spiritual path, journey, or anything that's blindsides you to that degree, like I'm stuck kind of between my old timeline and my new. I'm kind of in that purgatory zone. I used to call it the goo phase of the cocoon. So, when everything is just turned to goo and you're going to reform, but for right now it's gooey. I'm still, to be honest, in the gooey phase. And I feel like I have one foot in a different life and the next foot it's like one foot on the platform and one foot on the train. And I have to decide to stick on the platform and see the train go or hop on the train. And believe me, I'm trying to get on the train. I just have so much baggage on the platform that I need to let go of some of these bags. That way I can just grab my 2 bags and get on the train. And God, is that uprooting? God, is that uprooting? That's true. That's true. Because I still say, Abysmal, that I don't believe there's a such thing as a healthy addiction, but there sure as hell are addictions that are healthier than others. And the ones I've had are, in a way, fully healthy. I am a person who, for some reason, I'm trying to figure out why. I know some reasons why. I'm very self-judgmental on, like, it makes me feel like I don't deserve anything because I'm like, you can't have that. Part of it is just holding yourself like on a leash where you're like, I'm not allowed to do that. But then somebody says, why? And you're like, I guess I don't know. I just thought I wasn't deserving of that. Trina says prickly goo. Yeah, there's spikes in there. But the cocoon, you can overstay in the cocoon where it's like you're getting your wings, but then you're going back to goo because you're like, I'm just not sure about flying. I'm not 100% sure about flying. But I'm learning about flying, guys. Please believe me. I'm learning about flying. I'm trying. My processes just seem slower than other people's because I have a hard time letting go. I have a really hard time letting go. Yeah, hermiting. And hermiting can be good too. When you're like, you genuinely feel like you're healing just because you shut the door. I like being in a room and shutting the door. Growing up, I always had my own bedroom. I never had to share it. And I have 2 older sisters. I'm not an only child. And I could shut the door and just be in my room and it's my world. Then I realized I've been doing that with the grander scheme where I'm like, I'm shutting doors. And the sad thing is I feel great right now and chatting with you folks feels great. But it's probably only going to take 20 minutes after closing this chat where I'll start backing up again. And I'll be like, I believed everything I said, but here comes the great, like, here comes the dark cloud a little bit again. I'm going to have to face that dark cloud again and again. And I do, but like, I think it takes repetition where you got to remember it's not instant gratification. It's not, okay, cool. I close that chapter, I'm done. There's always a lot of residue for me. So it takes closing that chapter and then maybe hiding the book and then maybe even burning the book and being like, I need a new book. Reacclimate to the now. Yeah, I'm learning about that because it used to just sound corny when people like be in the present moment. It's like, yeah, sure. But then an overthinker thinks, yeah, you can be in the present moment all you want, but then you're not going to have food or you're never going to meet anybody because you're so in the moment. So I get to the point where I'm like, oh, you're just overanalyzing every absolute detail of anything that comes your way. And that's great. Whoever said recently that that's an engineering mind. Yeah, that is. When you're engineering something, it helps you to overthink everything because then you can preclude failures. You can analyze why it actually worked and didn't. If I was just a go with the flow person, I probably never would have built anything. And I'm glad I did build something. But as corny as it sounds or doesn't sound, I'm building myself now. Like I'm going inward and trying to build myself. That way I don't feel defined. I don't feel like the place I live in, the car I drive, the music I listen to is me. Me has to be something more ancient. It's like something older and sturdier. That's one thing I say about discovering myself recently, going inward and doing some of this shitty work. It makes me feel like I'm actually discovering something really, really soft and really, really sturdy. So I'm finding just how incredibly soft I am. It's just the gooeyest soft. But I find that sometimes, and it's another analogy, but if you're soft, you can take shock, you know. But I feel like I'm finding the sturdiness, and it's so trippy because you're there the whole time. Like the you that you're finding again when you awaken or whatever you do what you do, it's still the same you. But it's just like it had to go through a ringer or a test to prove it's still you. I don't know. That's what it feels like. You. But it's just like it had to go through a ringer or a test to prove it's still you. I don't know. That's what it feels like. Debs knows overthinking well. Yeah, I could write a book about overthinking, and I might. I genuinely need to get to a point where I can either phase it down or shut it off. But to overthinkers, you feel like you're losing such a part of yourself, you know? I love chatting with all you too. Very open-minded, chill stream. I want to get to the point of being able to live stream. So when you say get to the point, do you mean like of comfort or just like having the 50 subs or whatever you need and like the technology? Is it more about putting yourself out there probably? Jump on a panel with your avatar on and then you'll be comfortable going live by yourself. Yeah, that'd be a good start. I guess my face isn't on my avatar, but it was a doll that I thought looked like me. It was like a doll on a garage sale post that looked like me, so I zoomed in and kept it. Debs, it took a few years to get the guts to put myself out there. YouTube streets can be like a high school. Yeah, they can. I actually have a book called The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. Yeah, I want to read that book, and I want to read The Body Keeps a Score. I'm just like scared to dive in. I'm stuck in like a gotta get these ducks in a row before I can continue. And I know some of it is BS I made up, but some of it feels really true. I actually need to get better at just sitting down and reading. Sometimes there's so much on my brain where I start reading and I'm like, I'm ignoring something. It's that bad sometimes. But yeah, he said a couple of things, kind of like Alan Watts. Even before I would consider myself on the spiritual path, I was in the shower once and heard an Alan Watts lecture where he said something about the trick is to know you're in a game and play anyway. I was like, oh, that hit so deep, and I couldn't even tell why yet. I was like, Yeah, to know you're in a game, but still be willing to keep playing. Because I'm a big guy, like, oh, it's a game. If the facade's over, I don't want to play, and I remove myself from it. That's how I used to get out of my lucid dreams. Is I would be like, I don't like this game, and I would do that thing that I did to get out of dreams. Yeah, Eckhart is really good, actually, and I will look more into him. I'm always afraid of like overindulging in any one person's thing, because I don't want to become like a follower. I read a book about this person who wrote about Leonardo da Vinci. I remember just being like, this is just a fanboy. I'm like, the author of that book, I'm like, he's fanboying. So I'm trying not to like fanboy. But I grew up without idols. I grew up without role models, I mean. So I kind of had to be my own for a while. And then I think I latched on to somebody that I shouldn't have for a little bit. And so it's probably just my fear of addiction or dependency, but I'm kind of scared to latch on to one person too much. But I do want to look into that. We all feel stuck, and we are reorganizing our stuff and our lives at this time in history. I agree. And I found some more people who are in a similar boat where I'm like, yeah, okay. It makes you feel supported, because I still think there's people in my life who are going to like not like me for getting rid of my stuff or something stupid. But most people in my personal journey, I've been pretty fortunate. Most things I'm going through, there's always somebody who, like, I think people are going to hate what I'm doing, and then it turns out they're either not that involved or they actually support it sometimes. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, that's when you realize you're in your head. You're like, people don't hate everything you do. And if they do, it's on them. So much of what I do, I'm actually proud of, where I would defend it in a room, It's discovering the real you. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. And what a veil to lift. Oh my God. It's just, like I said, being human is the craziest thing anybody's ever tried. Yeah, we're reorganizing our lives. We're aligning. We're absolutely aligning. Kind of both. I'm working on a mask, but honestly, just consistency. And I just got The Body Keeps a Score. Read it in a hospital when I failed an attempt. Oh, wow, cool. Yeah, so Abby, you've seen what I call the dark curtain. People who hit, and I don't have any failed attempts, but I've seen the ball. I've been in a negative enough mindset to feel like I've seen the wall, or the dark curtain, which is kind of like you see that this is a possibility, or you see this dark realm. And the way I describe it is it's like, oh, you see like the other side almost, where you're like, I got to go this way. It's like, it's like in a dark room, and you find a hard wall, and you're like, oh my God. And you see the nothingness of it or something, or how nothing else can happen after this. And you're like, okay, that's actually to be avoided. So you kind of run this way. It's like any rock bottom. I actually don't hate rock bottoms, because it shows somebody the limit, and it shows you exactly where to go. People who never hit a rock bottom of sorts, I think they lose direction. I'm not saying it's great, but I'm saying it can help, unfortunately. Or is it fortunate? Now I'm kind of looping. I apologize, people. I also have This Is It by Alan Watts, and Become What You Are. You know what? These are things I should write down. I already remembered The Body Keeps the Score and The Power of Now, but just in case I forget, I want to put down, because it's so much slop right now. There's a lot of AI slop where it'll be like Carl Jung, and it'll be read by a robot. And I'm pretty sure the source text is actual good, but sometimes I don't like hearing it from a robot, because now I'm scared that a robot also created it. So like, I'm trying to be careful about certain things, because there's a lot of fake Alan Watts lectures where it's actually a robot that sounds like Alan Watts. And it's okay-ish if it's actually Alan Watts text, but because I haven't read the book, I don't know. So I'd rather have the book and be able to trust the book. This Is It, and Become What You Are. Okay. I love your openness. It's refreshing. Thank you. You sometimes have to work for that openness. It just comes natural to me, but I'm still restricted. Um, because I just like seeing my audience. And you can tell I'm comfortable with you guys right now, but part of me shouldn't be. But it motivated me. There's a couple people I found on YouTube that were so open. It was also refreshing. And it helped give me permission to be open, even though I kind of already was. But then there's only so open you can be. It's a balance. I grew from it, made me who I am. Yeah. Because it used to sound corny when people would say, I had to do that. To me, it used to sound corny. But it's so true that the struggles you go through, if you can overcome them, it really does strengthen you. The people who had no struggles at all aren't well rounded. They might be blissful. I was that person for a while. I was blissful or ignorant. And I'm not trying to just tack on a bunch of trauma, but if you can actually work through trauma, it does give you a lot of purpose where you're like, oh, wow, I needed that. You know, I get scared sometimes of what's to come. Like, what do I need now? But that's me. All right, where are we at? I had to go through it to get to now. Yeah. You have to go through it. Or what does that say? The only way to it is through it. People who live a charmed life can miss the boat. Oh man, I know. Isn't that sad? Because I feel like I had like a 10-year period where I was very blessed, and there wasn't a lot to look at. And then it kind of made it harder now. It actually made it harder now. Deb says AI is not cool in so many ways. You have to search for real people with real voices. Yeah, it's becoming harder to find, but we're out here. We're actually trying harder because of it. Also, Rivers Between Us is a song that has the Alan Watts quote in it. I'll write that down just in case. I see you, NATO. I'm just catching up in the chat. Rivers Between Us song. All right. Yo, Milky. Let's hear a freestyle from the big dog himself. I have a funny one. A calm ocean never created a skilled sailor. Yeah, that's a good analogy. I like that. Thanks for sharing that one. We only know how strong we are when being strong is the only option. Yeah. And sometimes I'm stronger than I think, and other times, you know how you just want to ball up sometimes, though? I think that's okay too. Just getting into the day. Yeah, DC Godzilla is my digital homeboy, Nathan, who is definitely on his grind, definitely inspiration, definitely positivity, a beacon of light, and also a deep thinker as well. And one thing I want to ask you, Nathan, this is going to sound like a criticism, but Nate, I've never seen you bust out laughing. You got giggles, but what makes you bust out laughing? What makes NATO milk through the nose? What makes you nearly can't breathe? Or does that ever happen to you? Get a laughing attack? Something that just makes you laugh that hard where like somebody wonders, I like laughing so hard that the person next to you is like, what's wrong with you? Because they're not feeling it. I like that. Full-time teaching, that's cool. I think secretly I would love to be a teacher. Guards up when I'm online. All the randoms freak me out. Yeah, you get a lot of them though. Nate, you get a lot of them. I think a lot of people just see a white guy rapping, and think that this is an invitation to hate. And I'm like, what the heck? And it's like, but some people turned around. Remember that guy who was like, he's like, I used to think you're whack, but he's like, I stuck around a little longer and you're actually pretty good. I thought that was really heartwarming. Grade 4. Oh, wow. I've been more connected with children lately than I've ever have in the past. I used to kind of ignore them, but I've had some heartwarming connections with them lately, with like my friends' kids, where I'm like, okay, I get them. I think part of it was I am one. I basically still am a kid in many ways. And I feel like when I'm in a group, if I'm at a social gathering, when I hang out at the kids' table, it makes more sense to me than at the grown-ups table, you know? But what do I want to say about that? I think what I would rather be is like a college professor. And I don't say this a lot because it scares me, because there's some dreams that I never thought I could chase. And it's not too late. You could be an old ass professor, you know. I like helping teach somebody to think for themselves versus just following a curriculum. I would probably be a great teacher. I think I could change people's lives. But I'm also kind of a rebel. So I think I would get fired by like going too far off of the curriculum if the people were that strict or whatever. But that's cool, Nathan. I think I'm going to think about that again. Yeah. I can't even. I'm in a. If I wasn't in such an upheaval mode, I think I would just agree with you. But right now, it's like I'm still stuck saying I can't. I can't teach. I don't deserve that. So please forgive me as I overcome these. No, I can't do that. I don't deserve that. I can't. I'm working on it. Believe me. Lots of kids with trauma and home lives, challenging behaviors. Teachers are their only positive adults in their life. Yeah, and I could do that. I could do that. But sometimes I just like that. God, here comes another problem of mine. I don't know how to make money. I'm going to have to learn how to want to make money soon, probably pretty darn soon. It's like I get enough just from getting the connection from the kids like at my friend's house and then going home is so heartwarming. I'm like, that's sustaining. I remember you could do that for a living. But Nathan, you already know, Godzilla already knows some of my struggle with selling out or making money off things that I love. It's another thing I got to work on. At least I know what I have to work on. I spent a lot of years of my life didn't think I needed any work, I guess, you know. But should I start teaching? I mean, I love the idea. I love the idea. If I were to set up like if I were to put a list of my 5 dream jobs, I'm not going to lie here, teaching would be one of them. Thanks for making my morning interesting. The person I live with is very close-minded and self-centered. So this is nice. Ooh, that's some shade, but it happens, doesn't it? It happens. If nothing else, I'm open-minded. If nothing else, I think sometimes if your mind's too open, though, you will collect rain too. So you got to be careful. Nate says it is strict. The kids don't want to learn about fractions. They want to learn about their interests, Pokemon and drones. So yeah, it's a classic like inner city teaching thing where you're going to have to figure out how to make fractions out of Pokemon, which wouldn't be too hard, and then get through them that way. Judy, how's it going? Good morning, Milky Milk, and hi, everyone. What's that? Is that jellyfish or is that, what's that center thing? Is that jellyfish? Good morning, Judy. We're having a lively chat. If you just entered or if you're lurking, you already know. For my standards, a lot of traffic, and I've been flowing this off the mouth today. Godzilla made 16 cents from YouTube. That is kind of fun, I guess. I'm making the big bucks. You know what? I love that now. I love that now. Yeah, it's only really selling out if you're right and left compromising your values to do it, I think. But I don't know. Don't listen to me about selling out. I think I'm too far on the other end of the spectrum. But I like right now, because of what I know about you and your journey, Godzilla Nathan, I'm really excited about these cents you're making. Makes a lot of sense now. But all right. Deb started working at 15, then disabled at the 48. Both parents passed in 7 months. Took care of both. Damn. I always feel bad when people. I think I was like closer to 20 when I got my first actual job, and at first I was a little bit embarrassed about it, but now I'm like glad that I milked it a little longer. Like I'm glad that I milked just living for a while and then getting a job. Jobs can teach you about yourself, but some jobs seem like they're almost designed to shroud you from yourself. So I'm going to have to I'll probably have a stream one day in the near future where I'm like, okay, people, I need help finding a job that suits me. because I'm really kind of a spoiled brat. I'm kind of picky about things, but I don't want a lot of money. I want a part-time job. I think even in the US, you should be able to, in 2026, if you don't have a bunch of kids and a bunch of stuff that under your watch, I feel like you should be able to survive comfortably on a part-time job. Is that so wrong? I think a full-time 60 freaking hours a week should be reserved for people who have like 9 kids. And even then, I don't know. I'm too much of an idealist, but I feel like you should be taken care of to a degree. And then if you want to excel above that, you should have to grind, you know? Lovey says, good morning, popping in. Grandchild needs attention. We'll be listening. Good morning, Lovey. It's always good to see your screen name. And you have a way of words that really make sense to me when I watch your content. And I still feel like we have unfinished business. Like there's some question I had for you and I can't even remember what it is now. But I had a distinct question. Or no, I wanted to share a video, I think it was. Yeah, it's a bit of fun making some money from YouTube. It's not selling out when you make 16 cents a day. Maybe one day I can earn $1 a day. Yeah, you can. You probably can. It makes me kind of want to try. Like I almost want to try, but like I said, there's a big balance for me wanting to be as open as I want to be versus I shouldn't be that open. And there's some people who are open for a living, but it's just, I'm mindful. I know the shadows going in, so I'm careful. I already see the shadows going in. I can't just like I can't just be excited and like go do something. I always have to see the positives and the negatives and the whole picture for some ungodly reason. Okay. DC was describing the sticker. I had a question about Judy. It's celebration emoji, like ribbons exploding. Oh, like the poppers and stuff. It's a heart-shaped hand. Yep. They do that a lot, like this. And then I guess the new people for some reason go like this. Wait. It's like this for some reason. They do it better. I can do this. Yeah. And I can pat the stomach, rub the head. Then I can pat and rub. You can't see it, but just trust me. Very coordinated. That comes from trying to play piano and trying to play drums and getting coordination reinforced that way. Victor doing his live stream now. So you're going to jump? You're going to jump? Wait. Didn't he start? Oh, wait, he did start right now. I was thinking 9:45. Is that the PM one? Heaven sent. Okay. So NATO wants to rap. Let's see. NATO is heaven sent. Motherfuck the sense. I do it for the love. Shove a hater in the dirt. Berserk I rub. The genie in the bottle. Full throttle. Role model. I'd probably go also with like, NATO is heaven sent. The rest is irrelevant. Never forget the glow up like an elephant. Benevolent. No. My rap skills are prevalent. This is the deepest that I ever get. That's it. I'm finished. You're mechanically inclined. You could work at a fix your stuff shop. Yes, but okay. So here's where I said I was a spoiled brat and I said I was kind of picky. I used to run a CNC machine and I did it very, very well. And it was fun. But then with my life shifts, it's like, no, I don't want to do it. I just don't want to do it. So like, it's weird because maybe in a little while I'll come back down to it's okay, but I have to blend. I don't know. I have to blend. Is there a way to be sensitive and get paid? Maybe I do need to write more songs because like I feel like I need to spend some of this like empathy. And then I need to get over me not taking money for anything. it feels hopeless to me, if I'm being honest with you folks. It feels like I can't do it. But then I realize it's more like a blinder. It's like I have to focus on something else right now. I've been getting glimpses of, oh yeah, I can do that. I can do that. It's not a big deal. My big thing is I don't think I want a career. I don't think I want anything that's like, oh, this is going to set you for life. I don't want that. I'd rather learn, get out of there, and then learn something else, if that's fair. But Milk for a Snack is back. Let's hear a track, hip hop, a freestyle, Wild Child, Alexander Never Stops. So let's see, fix yourself shop, still some around, people skills. That's true though too. I do still value fixing stuff, especially my own stuff, and not throwing something away because you know how to fix it. It seems like a lost art, but I feel like I would get stuck inside objects again if I spent too much time with them. That sounds weird. Nate did a 10-hour live stream to get monetized. It takes full commitment to get monetized. I was almost on my Thinker channel. Like I said, I had enough views. I had like 130,000 views or something on that one video. So all I needed was 1,000 subs, and I had like 880 or something. If I pushed that, if I felt even remotely like building stuff again like that, which I do not, I would fire that back up, and maybe I would try that, because I was kind of close to getting monetized with that. But at the point, I'm like, I don't want monetized. Like, I didn't want to help YouTube make $1 off of me. I already get pissed off that they put ads on my videos, even though I don't get anything. So I was like, I wish you would just pay me nothing and do not advertise on my channel. But I'm kind of like a punk rocker when it comes to that stupid stuff. Judy, just drop the mic for Godzilla. How do you get that mic thing? You have to be on a phone, right? My first job was at Six Flags over Georgia, so it brought me out of my shell. Yeah. Thanks, Judy. I truly love my duty, making homies shake their booty. I didn't jump into Victor's. Still here. Not in a meditation mood this early. Maybe finding, fixing, and selling stuff online. If I had a partner, Debs, you're going to start being probably really frustrated with my replies because I'll have some stupid retort for everything, but I cannot. I deleted my Facebook. I could not stand Marketplace. I cannot stand all the thumbnails. I can't stand all the people who don't actually respond. I can't stand the people who, I don't like how you never know what type of person they are, so you don't even know if you want to go to their house. And I never ask enough. Like, I just want to sell it quick, so I'll take a loss on anything I buy. So I couldn't do that. But I would support some, I don't know. I don't think I could do it. But again, pre-shift, I could have done that. Pre-shift, I could have done that or helped somebody do that. Big Dog Godzilla out, reporting writing day tomorrow. Oh, report writing day tomorrow. I'm starting to read this as a wrap again. Student free day for teachers to write reports. Love the positive vibes. Love you all. Yeah, see you, dude. Thanks for stopping in. Okay, cool. Maybe I'm over padding your experience then. I apologize. I just feel like a brat when somebody's like, you can do this. I'm like, no, I can't because, but I do hate being online, like to some degree. It pulls my energy out. Just seeing even digital pictures, seeing pictures of other places sometimes pulls energy out where I'm like, I'm living in there. I'm not living here in the now. I'm living inside that picture and thinking about the people that are walking around that park. And I'm thinking about, but when I'm actually there, it's a little bit different. But I think my dream jobs, I wouldn't mind like taking care of houses that people are away from seasonally. I wouldn't mind to a degree being a groundskeeper, but I'm like so afraid of like ticks, and I'm not that outdoorsy. I'm trying to get better. I would love to be a professor or a teacher. I wouldn't love to be a musician, but I feel like there's parts of it that deeply, deeply resonate. But I think I'm too big of a, like, if I didn't feel like singing, I don't know if I would. Like, I don't know if I could go do a gig if I wasn't feeling it. Like a freaking Axl Rose. But so teacher's a big one. I used to like driving, but now I'm a little bit like, I don't want to drive all the time. But I used to love driving because I could come up with ideas and record them. I had a lot of good brain waves while out on the road. There's times where I think I could entertain, but I want to be so honest that sometimes it feels disingenuine. Like, I seriously once was entertaining enough at the line at a sub shop at Jersey Mike's that the lady in front of me, her name was Amy, paid for my sub. And then I joked with the clerk. I said something like, I just got paid to be entertaining, or I just got fed to be entertaining. And she was like, yeah, are you an entertainer? And I'm like, no. I'm like, I have a YouTube channel. She basically made it sound like maybe you could be an entertainer. I'm like, yeah, maybe I could be. But yeah, see, but I can't do dogs. And like, I love cats, but when they need like meds or like, there is something I had to give my cat in a dropper. It was easy. I can't open the mouth of a damn animal and give them a pill. Like I'm incapable, which sounds so stupid. But I'm so afraid of teeth and getting bit. And like, I'm actually not a big animal person. I just happen to love cats. But yeah, pet sitter. Yeah, if I was a house sitter, but see, isn't that stupid too? Because I think I could be a house sitter. But I'm like, oh, if they have a dog, I'm out. So I don't know if I really can, but I think I'm just being too picky. But it's starting to get me a little bit down because I'm like, I just can't. It's like I can't do anything. It's like I'm so focused on getting through what I'm getting through that I'm like, everything's on pause, which is okay. But I think realistically, because I talk about how much I'd love to be a teacher, but then I'm like, I'm not willing to go through schooling for it. I'd rather just teach on YouTube, and then maybe I should just try this YouTube shit. Maybe I should just try to actually push some YouTube. I don't know. At one point, I had like 5 different ideas to do on YouTube. Like I was going to have a music channel, my build channel. I was going to have a channel where it's just called Alex Appreciates Things, because I was looking at a claw hammer once and I was just so excited about how it was shaped and like how it helps you do something without actually spending any more energy than you're already using. And then I wanted to have a channel maybe about the car projects I was working on at the time. And then maybe a channel where you just like you're riding on a motorcycle with me or something and just like doing things. Something like that. I had like 5 ideas that I'm like, I just can't. Oh, Abby, I didn't know if you were just chilling in the cut, as they said, or if you left. But yeah, I appreciate you so far, and it was fun to have you swing over because like I said, I was in an uppy mood where I'm like, I just want to talk. Deb's had to work almost my whole life, so not the best suggester of jobs. No, you're doing fine. I don't think I'm a good receiver of suggestions of jobs. There's a friend who told me about this job where you're making like exhibits for the local museum, and they said it paid terrible. And I was like, that sounds interesting, but I'm not going to look into it for reasons. But like, I'm like that. So every once in a while, I do get one, and for a short moment, okay, you're taking off, Debs. Oops, hold on. Stay on page. I had a weird button on my mouse. I've had 38 jobs, some 3 at a time. That's living in, oh man. Yeah, living in New York and getting New York City and getting married at 23. Got to pay the bills. Yeah, thanks for sharing that. I'm going to enjoy my birthday. Much love, guys. See you again soon. Yeah, see ya. I appreciate you guys coming in. ACJ, you're also known as Allison, right? Thanks for staying in. I almost forgot you were here because I think you popped in earlier, and I don't think I said hello properly. But yeah. I want to see how how long this nice wave of energy lasts when I stop streaming. I'm going to catch something to eat. Maybe I'll take a motorcycle ride. Maybe I'll do something productive. And think about that. Eclectic hyperfocus. See, I had this. Let me see if I can share a meme. Hold on. Pictures. Yeah. Search. Meme focus. All right. I don't know if this is your guys' type of humor, but I wanted to share this. Okay, Debs is still here. Gotcha. Look at that. Look at that community right there. Happy birthday, Abby Small, aka Abysmal, aka sometimes Abby, or Abyss. Abyss Mall. Trina's still here. Trina was a newcomer, I believe. I remember a comment that I probably didn't even respond to yet. And I was like, oh, cool. Some good feedback. It's always good to get some good feedback. And it's good to have you on here. Oh, can't chat now. That'd be funny to pick up a chat and be like, hey, you're on camera. I'm gonna have to text this person back. Hold on. How come this person never texts to say, hey, you got a minute? Because I open up a lot easier if that happens. Sorry about this crazy thing. You're gonna go, Judy? See ya. I will enjoy my ride. I'll be very careful. I had a ride 2 nights ago at night, and I knew deer were going to be around, and I went really slow. And I saw 3 deer, and they're all in town. And I was able to just avert. Usually I try to only ride at daytime, but sometimes you got to ride at night. But thanks for that send off. I think it'll actually help me. It'll help me set a primer for having a good ride. Let me share this meme really quick. Okay. This is simple, but this was actually a screenshot from my flip phone options. And it said focus continuous AF. And if anybody knows what AF means, I thought this was a cute little meme. I almost shared it like on Instagram. But I'm also shy sharing on social media, period, because I'm like, oh, I don't know where it goes. It feels icky almost. It feels performative. But focus. I was going to put like 2026 goals. Focus continuous is because, as you can tell, I have decent focus actually, and my attention span is longer than a lot of my peers, but I still have room for improvement. Yeah, I wanted to share that. All right, let's get back because I saw something in here. Boy, I hate where I live right now. You helped me avoid that thought, and I appreciate that. Yeah. Are you getting called to a different area? Because I've been getting called, is the best way I can put it, to a different town. And I'm working on lightening my load and my life situations and whatever baggage and ties I have so I can feel like I'm deserving and I want to say confluent. I don't know if that's the right word. Like conducive to doing that. So now, are you actually in the city? There's a lot of places I kind of want to go. I don't want to go to a super big city. Like Chicago would be too big. Ann Arbor, Michigan would be too big. But I want it to be a little bit bigger. Or I don't even know what I want it to be. Maybe I want it to be a little smaller. I think I just owe it to myself. I feel like I deserve now that I do want to see a different place for a while. And I don't have enough money to really just go do anything. But I'm almost willing to lock in for a little bit with, I'm not saying a job I hate, but I'm almost willing to go back into the grind for a bit just so I can see something different. And people will be like, oh, it don't matter where you live, you can't run from yourself. I'm like, well, it's true, but those are people who at least had that experience. I never really got to live anywhere outside of my realm. I kind of had a very comfortable situation. And the situations I had with houses would probably make some of you guys gag, like how cheap my house was. But now I'm to the point where I don't even want a house. Like I honestly want to fix up my short school bus and do that for a while. Exactly. Focus continuous AF. I want to be able to sit here and like I used to, and like because I'm a flip phone user. I'm not kidding. I'm a flip phone guy. I love this thing. I had my poetry phone, which I have a post about this in the what happened? Did I do something? I feel like there's a lag. That's okay. I don't need to see myself anyway. I had oh, what was I even saying? Oh, I'm a flip phone guy through and through, but I'm still admittedly online more than I ever used to be. There's like 4 little things I check in on too much. And I'm getting to a point where I still almost want to do a whole year off the internet. I have to like consolidate some bills, sever some ties. Like it's a process just to do that. I don't want to just completely gut it, but I don't know. We'll see. If I end up doing that, I think it'd be cool just to say I did it. I'm here for monetary reasons and I need my own place. I live with my ex as friends and he's a control freak. I'm hours away from New York City by a lake. Okay, not too bad. When I went to New Hampshire, I went through New York and there's a place called Ellicottville, New York, that I really liked. And I had some really good moments there. And I would consider living there. But when I do a little like search and like, I just get curious. I'm like, can I live somewhere else? I get so put off by the rent. The rent is ridiculous. I never had to rent in my life yet. My freaking houses were so cheap that I was paying $320 a month to buy the house. So I'm freaking spoiled in that regard. I can't get out of my small town mentality where I'm like, maybe I don't want to live in a city. I just want to see I'm getting a calling. That's all there is to it. So I'm trying to process what the calling is asking. And a lot of times I just think about just get my school bus running. I mean, it runs. I'm working on this short bus and I want to get it fixed enough where I'm like, I have somewhere to crash no matter what. I have some friends that would help. That'd be supportive of me. It's just so much upheaval. I'm like a little bit exhausted sometimes and I can't do it all at once. But I found out that I kind of wanted to have roommates and rent with someone sometime in my life before I die. But it's like the grass is greener. People who've only ever had apartments want a house, and people who've only had a house, I guess, can sometimes want an apartment just because you don't own it. There's something weighing on my psyche. Everything I own, even all these things, even like these silly glasses and stuff, it's all something I'm responsible for. And having a house, now you have a roof, a basement. And I don't think it's forever, but I'm at a phase where I'm like, I don't want a roof anymore. Not truly. The roof on Darby, my school bus, is basically really small. Like everything that I see that can get damaged is all small and within my view. So I just need to narrow my focus so like I can focus on me more and not feeling like I'm responsible for all this stuff. And I know that sounds sick probably to somebody who has kids because I don't have any children. That'd probably give me more focus actually. But like I don't have anything super important that I am responsible for, but I still feel weighed down. So I owe it to myself to lighten my load, and that's what I'm actively in the mode of lately. New York State is big. I'm an hour and a half away from Ellicottville, New York. Cool. I wouldn't mind being around there. I haven't been to all the states to know. I kind of want to stay in the U.S. right now, if you can believe that, because I don't understand how I could. I don't understand how I could leave. I'm still. You got to understand. I'm like expanding and trying to figure out what do I deserve and what I can actually pull off. And when I took that trip, it was a solo trip to New England, and it was amazing. It was actually amazing. And I was giddy at the end of it. I'm like, I actually pulled that off. I can do that. So I need to do more of that, get out of your comfort zone stuff and see about that. So yeah. I don't understand. It's like I'm so unwilling to get back into a 8 hour a day grind that I'd almost rather miss out on opportunities because but then if I intellectualize it as it's not permanent, then it's okay. I have this issue where I feel like I'm going to get stuck in everything. And maybe that's because, well, I've only ever had long-term relationship, only ever had longer term jobs, like only ever had everything lasted. Everything was always here. And then I've had enough shifts to find out that not everything's supposed to be here. You're supposed to change and evolve. You're supposed to find new things. At least I am. And I feel like I'm going to get trapped. I feel like if I go get a full-time job, I'm going to be trapped. Why can't I remember that you can quit that job and get a different one? I think just because it wasn't shown to me. But you've had 8 houses in 3 states, and it's hard living in a bedroom and a camper. But the work on a house sucks, and I'm disabled, so I do not sure where I belong. Yeah, that's tough. It's like, so you're saying it's hard living in a bedroom and a camper. Yeah, the work on the house, I used to like it. I'm still pretty able-bodied in general. I'm scared about becoming disabled because a lot of fears came up for no reason, some of them I thought. But I can still do things, but I feel like I have limited time. So I'm like, I don't want to do those things. I don't want to put a roof on. I don't want to paint the whole garage, you know? I don't want to. And that's okay. It's just so weird because I used to love that. I used to love like having something so tangible and permanent or semi-permanent. I have stories to tell about the house I bought that I'm not going to tell them here right now, but they are so, I think it reveals how much I identified with my belongings and my place, that it's almost like I have to learn to identify here without even thinking about a house or a car, you know? I almost want to learn how hard it is to live in in my RV camper thingy, so that it helps me appreciate other things. Cause like, you know, when you're out camping or you're out on travel, then you have a shower and it's like the most glorious thing you've had. But if you shower every day, you just lose interest. It's kind of like that. I think, how long has I been on here? I'm going to go to the 2 hour mark and probably close it down. So we got 2 minutes left. If anybody wants to say hello or goodbye or thanks or you suck or anything like that, I'll take it. And we'll go from there. So 2 minutes and counting. I'm going to, not that it matters. Like I said, I'm going to go catch a bite. I'll probably have a bowl of cereal first, and then I'm going to probably make some fish sticks and tater tots just for now to get some food in me. There's some projects I want to help out with. I might do that. I'm trying not to get into a funk that I always seem to get into, where I'm picking up emotions from like the house itself or something, but we'll see. So let's hear more about your story. This relationship situation is definitely being trapped. He's got some mental issues and he's very broken, 66-year-old. Miserable, dark and negative on the opposite. We'll keep shining that light. I know, probably to a lesser degree, I know a little bit about this, and but I also see it in people's faces sometimes. I'll see a broken, big breath for that. I'll see a broken 66-year-old here and there out in public, and I call it the living death. It's like they're just waiting to haunt the building, or like, how does it go? Like, I see it sometimes, and so I sympathize with that, and I'm glad you could find some respite or some. I'm glad you could find some. But I appreciate you. And we are going to have a decent day. We're going to have a decent day. First thing is kick back and eat some food. That's what I'm going to do. Thanks, Debs. And thanks Trina. Whoever else is here. Thanks, Judy. I'm going to go up. Thanks, ACJ, aka Allison. Thanks, Abysmal, aka Allison. Thanks, Debs again. Thanks, Nathan, aka NATO, DC Godzilla. Thank you. I'm actually going to do this. I'm going to go all the way up. It might be everybody, but I think I forgot somebody. Thanks, Allison, again. Oh, yeah, Kevin, Blackstripe Pro. Thanks, Kevin, for dropping by. Thank you. Thank you, India. Thank you, Permanence. Thank you. Thank you. Remember that song from Thanks, Sam Gloves. Oh, no, I forgot to show Sam Gloves something. Sam Gloves, on the crazy off chance you're still here, shoot it in the chat. This goofy person came up and said, I like gloves. My channel's about gloves, and his name was Sam Gloves. And he asked if I had any disposable gloves. He could have been a true weirdo. I don't know, but he could just be goofy. Or it could just be, we're all here because we're not all there, you know? Oh, Ian. Thanks. Shout out to Ian, art musician. And who else? Victor, Truthwave. Shout out to him. Amaya, yeah. Shout out to her. And, oh, Millie, yeah, she stopped by. Thanks out. Shout out to Millie. So this would be good for anybody who actually goes back for whatever reason and watches this. They'll get a shout out. The Reiki Journey is also Ian, so shout out to Ian again. I thought that was cute that he came on his normal channel, which is just non-Reiki. Shout out to Trina again. And there we are. So thanks again. I'm going to zoom down to the bottom to make sure. Okay, you're Trista's sister. Okay, I think you stopped on a chat once. And I was like, oh, cool. Because Trista said once that isn't really her name. So I'm like, well, maybe it is, because if you're the Trista and Trina, you're the T twins, you know, T sisters. All right. Yes, thanks for stopping in. And I'll see you next time if you're around, or if I'm around, and if the digital paths cross, so to speak. So thanks, everybody. I'm out.